Welcome to the Plant Cunning podcast,
where we explore our relationship to plants, other people, and the mysteries of nature.
Coming to you from the high Allegheny Plateau in central New York.
We are your hosts, AC Stauble
and Isaac Hill. So today is the 5th anniversary of Plant Cunning podcast, as well as our 200th episode. We started, the first episode came out October 7th, 2020, and it is now October 8th, 2025. Isn't that crazy? It's been so long. It's been such a journey. So
yeah, it's been so long. I didn't even realize it was 5 years.
But so today we decided to have Gabriel Mojay, who is the co-director of the Actaea Institute for Herbal Medicine and Aromatherapy, alongside AC, to come on and act as like the host for us and ask us questions. We're taking this idea from Herbs with Rosalie and Mason. Mason Hutchinson came on Rosalie's show to ask her questions for her 200th episode just last week. So Gabriel, how are you doing?
Good. But the weather couldn't be more perfect here because it went from super hot, a while back, and then it got chilly. But happy 200th anniversary of the episodes.
Thank you.
Amazing. And well, I should say, not it's the 5th anniversary, the 200th episode. I don't know how you manage that combination by some auspicious accident. But in any case, well done and congratulations. You must feel it's a massive achievement, isn't it, really?
Yeah,
I guess
feels
so.
good.
Yeah, we just kept going.
Yeah, I mean, we love doing it, so I guess that's why I didn't really think about it in the terms of like it's been 5 years that we've been doing this. It's just part of our routine. It's a weekly-ish podcast, and so we just kept it going with a few breaks here and there with when we've had our conference or our wedding or things like that. So it is actually kind of impressive that we've made it this far.
It is. I think it's impressive and I've got these questions for you, but I think it's impressive. And I think I saw when I checked it out, I believed you in the beginning, but I thought I'd look as I went through the podcast again. And I saw October 8th, actually, 2020, but maybe you recorded it on the 7th, whatever. But I think, it's incredible, the luminaries you've had and all the unbelievable, a lot of people I don't know, a lot of people I do know and respect and admire and have books of theirs. But also what you said, the commitment, because that's like a practice, isn't it? Like a sadhana, a spiritual journey that is, I'm sure, taking you deeper and deeper. Yeah. But you have time to time episodes where if you guys like catch up with each other, don't you, and review, I suppose. So, but this is a kind of
it's like our duo casts. Yeah.
So I guess it's like in this instance, duo cast plus one, because it's hard. Totally. I think I was thinking, when you're so used to interviewing, and this is about your own podcast, the Plant Cunning podcast. But what prompted you? What was your original like soul urge to create that, and how did that evolve from there?
Well, I guess I've always liked podcasts. I like listening to podcasts. And it's especially in 2020, there was lockdown and there was less of a chance to get out and talk with people. And so I figured, hey, this would be a great opportunity to do that, to talk with people online. And which I think is one of the great things about podcasts is that, you can talk with people from all over the world. And then it's also this like secret weapon to like, it's like a trick. You get to talk to people who you would never be able to talk to before just by emailing and saying, hey, can we have you on our podcast? Like all these luminaries that we were like, wow, how do we get them on our show? How did, so we were able to talk with them by just inviting them on our show.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's part of it. And then it also, like, before this show was happening, before 2020, I was in a band, the Hills and the Rivers, and that was kind of my main thing. I was always out there doing something. And that's part of my personality, to like want to be
Yeah.
out there doing something, working in the
Yeah.
community, like
Yeah.
this network kind of thing, and performing
Yeah.
too, because
Yeah.
even though we are interviewing other people, we are also kind of performing as
And you
the
were like a band, in a way, you were like a band. When I've seen you perform, you are more like the band leader a bit, I felt often.
Hmm.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been the band leader, lead singer, songwriter. It's
Yeah.
also making, with Hills and Rivers, I did all of the booking too, and
Oh,
like all of the, like, making sure we
oh,
recorded our albums. I wrote all the songs.
oh,
I
man.
cooked for
Yeah.
everybody on the road. All that. I did. I was like,
Yeah.
Oh, oh my God. Yeah,
it
you were
was,
like you were the manager and the on the
yeah.
road.
The
Yeah.
band mom.
I was the manager, the booking agent, the lead singer, the lead songwriter, yeah, it was kind of a lot.
Yeah.
But everyone else in the band also contributed a lot too. So I'm
Yeah,
not
I'm
saying that
sure.
like I did everything,
Yeah.
but it was a big role.
Yeah.
So yeah, so transitioning to the podcast, it kind of fills that desire for me.
You still get to do all the
Yeah.
booking and all the cooking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
most of the
Okay.
episodes, I reach out to people.
Yeah.
I
Editing.
get to be, on the moon
Yeah.
spotlight a little bit, and with my
Yeah.
moon nakshatra Danista, the Danista nakshatra likes to be performing to a certain degree.
Oh, right. Nice. Yeah. A bit like Leo, huh? Energy, I
Hmm.
guess.
Similar,
Yeah.
Yeah.
different kind of energy, but still, it's like
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
like yeah, it's part
Is
of it.
that a fixed star you said? No, sure,
The
sure.
nakshatra, yeah, they're the
Yeah.
27 nakshatras. There's 28
Oh, I
different
remember
special
you telling me
notices.
about that. Yeah, that's incredible.
The
That
moon goes through, yeah.
incredible system. That. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It's actually apparently more ancient than the zodiac. In India, it's been used for many millennia. So
Yeah. And
Hmm.
incredible. What was your original incentive, AC? Do
For
you reckon?
me, it was similar reasons of being here on the farm. We moved in right before the pandemic and then realized that our community was dispersed. We come from like a traveling
Yeah.
community, and Isaac from Pittsburgh, and I was from the Hudson Valley. New York was where I was living for about a decade off and on. And
Yeah.
my herb school community, I had all these friends throughout the country. And so I was feeling that need for connection, and Isaac and I talked about creating a podcast where we get to interview our friends as well as our mentors and people that we were
Yeah.
inspired by. So it was just like a really exciting idea that we were like, I don't know how to start a podcast. I don't know what equipment we need. I
Mm.
don't have any
Oh.
experience in this. And I don't feel like I'm
Yeah.
a really strong speaker for off the cuff things. I felt like I'm pretty confident with giving a class that I've prepared for or writing a speech and doing some like public performance, but I'm not a natural performer like Isaac with a musician background. And so it was kind of like a stretch for me to like push myself to like appear. Like the first time recording it, I was so nervous. The first 100 times I was pretty nervous. So I've developed those skills and learned some tricks of the trade and learned what tools we needed. And
Yeah.
it was sort of a growing edge opportunity for me to try something new. And then having Isaac to be in partnership with through it also makes it more fun because he has certain questions that I wouldn't think of.
Yeah.
I ask certain questions he wouldn't think of, and we can both like kind of engage with the people we're interviewing from our own unique styles of
Yeah.
being and have our own curiosities or areas of
Yeah.
expertise. So it's good to have a partner. And when we interviewed Gordon White, he actually said that I remember him saying that to
Oh.
us that he kind of wished that maybe he had started it with like a partner or he admired that we had that because it's kind of like
Yeah.
a cool dynamic. So
Yeah.
that just made it easier for me to like dive into something that was new and
Yeah.
it's been a real highlight for me. So I'm glad that we're doing it.
Yeah. Gordon White, I don't think I know him. Does he have a big podcast?
Yeah, the Rune
Oh,
Stoop podcast. It's the only
oh,
podcast that I listen to.
oh, wow.
Yeah,
And did
yeah.
you say what's
You
it
listen to
say?
some other podcasts too.
Okay, fine, but it's the only one I've listened to like almost every single episode of. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
What is it what does it cover?
Uh,
magic and
Okay. Yeah.
nature,
Oh, okay.
spirituality, and occult
Oh,
arts, and history and philosophy, politics, like
wow. Wow.
astrology, paranormal activity.
paranormal activity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some of that. Like
Really broad.
he
Wow.
sort of has a very wide range of people who are
Yeah.
interested in occult arts and things like this.
Yeah.
And he has an online
Yeah.
community and forum. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, he was definitely an inspiration for it, and then having him on the show felt like a huge milestone too for me
Wow.
personally.
Really?
Having someone that I
Impressive.
appreciate their
Yeah.
writing and their
Yeah.
thoughts on the world. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think, if your interests are kind of broad, even in our field of plant medicine and esotericism, it is quite refreshing when someone like you mentioned has, such a diverse focus. And
yeah, it
yeah,
keeps it
I'm
interesting.
sure, but someone who has a really, like penetrating and wise mind, I'm sure their perspective on each of those things must be, really interesting. A
Yeah.
bit like someone like Freedom Cole, I imagine, too, from another point of view.
Yeah.
Although he's more like a real specialist, isn't he, in a way, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a little bit more of a
Yeah,
specialist, I'd say.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's interesting those polarities, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's part of, I mean, for us too, we have a little bit wider of a focus, and that's kind of
Yeah,
like the Plant Cunning name. It gives us a little bit more leeway to interview
yeah,
astrologers and spiritual practitioners as well as herbalists, and I mean, we kind of even stray a little bit farther from the cunning and the Plant Cunning even niche, and interview a lot of permaculturists and
yeah,
like enlightenment,
yeah.
that kind of that end of spirituality as well.
Sure.
So, but
Yeah,
it's like that's what's
yeah,
interesting to us.
yeah. I never, although there's such a huge range, and I don't pretend to know a lot of them, many of your speakers, but I didn't really feel anyone was out of place somehow. You know, it all,
Yeah.
somehow, I don't know, you captured a certain oeuvre, and even though it's a big one. But what I wanted to ask you next is that was quite an intense time, wasn't it, when COVID hit and you were looking to, express your soul energy in that way, in a different way due to necessity, even whatever. But how have things changed since then? Since have you noticed with the podcast and yeah, just generally, I guess, but especially with the podcast.
One big change was when we first started, we did audio only, and
Oh,
we're not doing
oh,
video at all.
Mhm.
oh,
And
right.
that
Yeah,
that was something, I don't know, we were just used to listening to podcasts ourselves, and we wanted to do a podcast, not like a YouTube channel. So we were like, this is how you do that, right? But then we realized everybody also records video of
Yeah.
their podcast because people can still just
okay.
listen to it if they feel like it. But some people do
Yeah,
want to watch it. And then we've also been creating these small shorts using that video footage that we can post on social media and attract people to certain episodes if they vibe with what someone's saying. They're like, oh, I want to
yeah,
watch that episode. So um,
yeah,
Yeah, that's kind
that's
of
a
been
big
one of
one.
the big things is the video, and we still don't have like the best camera.
No.
And it's not like our reels do super well, but some of them have done really well, like 500,000 views or whatever or more. For a few of those reels, but it's
wow.
also it's kind of fun for me to do because I edit all of them, and it's kind of fun to you're like mining and sifting through for the gems,
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
episode. And
yeah,
sometimes
the
there's
real.
so
I
many
love the real.
gems, but
Yeah.
and sometimes and it's also it's like different people have different styles of talking, and some people like kind of talk take 5 minutes and you go to all these different things and say for this one thing, where some people are like have very precise, like just like witty. What is it called? What is it called?
Concise, witty.
Concise.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Succinct.
succinct.
That's the one.
Succinct.
Yeah,
So
they're gonna
sometimes
zero in.
yeah.
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 So everyone's got it's and it's a different than like it's a different form than making reels, where we're like you have with a lot of people on TikTok or whatever, they have like a formula or whatever they're making
Yeah.
that creating a reel, but we're
Yeah.
not creating the
Yeah.
reels, we're extracting the reels.
Yeah. Well, one of the, talking about, I don't mean to jump the gun, and I wanted to ask you next about the process involved.
Uh-huh.
But the point you were making just now, for example, when we were the interview you did with me back a few months ago, when AC was talking about what she wanted to bring to, our diploma course together with Actaea,
Yeah.
Institute, and you got such a sweet a segment that really explained everything so well, and put across AC's commitment to learning, and really well preparing students from a business point of view and stuff like that. And it's almost like you would be difficult to make such a genuinely communicative reel otherwise, just like
Yeah.
scripting it and sitting, like you were
Yeah,
it just
totally.
came out naturally, didn't it?
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's nice to be able to
Mm.
and sometimes even like that needed a little bit of editing, just like removing some extra
Yeah.
words and so on to make the meaning shine. But
Yeah.
It's also it's interesting like which reels end up doing really well
yeah,
and which don't, and like the ones you
Right.
think are gonna do well don't. Like I was really pleasantly surprised by all of the reels that one hoodoo practitioner and author Denise Alvarado did some reels on or we did some reels of her talking about dandelion,
yeah.
and that just went nuts.
Wow.
And
Really?
That was one of the ones that had like almost 500,000 or more
yeah,
views.
and
Yeah.
her
Who
episode
was
was
that again?
awesome. It was
Who is
Denise
that?
Denise
Alvarado.
Alvarado,
Yeah.
who's a hoodoo
She does
practitioner,
more
root birth,
Louisiana
and
voodoo.
oh, she does the Louisiana.
Oh,
New Orleans voodoo. Yeah.
Yeah.
maybe that has a lot of interest, perhaps.
Yeah.
Maybe that,
Yeah.
or whatever. Yeah, I know.
Oh, that's
Well,
right. She's more voodoo. And then we interviewed Faith Mitchell, who was writing a
yeah,
lot about hoodoo around the same time. And so that those are both really interesting episodes that
yeah. You didn't boost
yeah.
that one, you didn't spend
No,
any, no,
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 no, no.
no,
No boasting. No.
advertising. No,
But
no.
I'm also interested in the people listening right now. Like, how many of you, like, have any of you like started listening to the podcast from a reel? Because
Yeah, does it
I don't
happen?
know if that happens or not.
We think it
You know,
does, but
it might happen, but it's nice also just to have those reels out there and those little like
Sure.
nuggets are getting out
Yeah,
and people can digest those. So they're already kind of pre-digested a little bit,
hmm.
But
yeah,
if anybody has started listening to this show from a reel originally, let me know because I want to,
Drop a comment.
drop a comment. Yeah, I'd like to know.
yeah. No, good question for people.
'Cause I do put a lot of work into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I was going to ask you that next, actually. I mean, who's on your production team? Maybe Percy, is he on it?
Number
Yeah,
one.
Percy does most of the booking. He edits all the podcast. No, I do almost everything actually.
Yeah.
Almost like I do everything
Yeah.
pretty much. AC's
I
there.
just show up.
She shows up.
Okay.
She books a couple. Like
Yeah.
we just recorded an
Oh,
episode with Kathy Skipper, which is going to come out in a few weeks, and that was really
oh,
great.
lovely. I
And
know her very well, actually. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
yeah,
Great.
and so
Kathy.
AC set that one up. But I set up most of the episodes, and then I edit the episodes, and then I edit all the reels. And it's kind of like it's a part-time job. I don't really get paid for it, but we do have some Patreon patrons who that helps. But most of that money just goes back into the podcast because
Yeah.
we have to pay for certain things. And
Yeah.
then also like I do readings, and those readings come from the podcast. My Vedic astrology readings. A lot of
Yeah.
my clients come from the podcast, so that's
Yeah.
a nice thing.
Yeah.
But I also just really enjoy it too, you know.
Yeah.
But
No.
it is a part-time job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
Isaac
I
definitely
think it
does most of it.
honestly, I think I think it's an artistic achievement, firstly. I really do. The way you've created it and manifested it, you know, as a creative vehicle, as well as a great service to the discipline.
Hmm.
You know, it's a
Thank you.
great resource for people. It's a great resource of wisdom for people. It's
Mm,
very broad and non-judgmental. I think you're both extremely talented interviewers.
really?
No, no. Honestly,
Thank you.
you're both terribly shy and modest. So,
We
but
are.
it has to be said. It has to be said. But I wanted to ask you next, AC. How do you choose what guests will be on the show?
Well, we do have a few different publishers that reach out to us and
Oh,
offer us up some different guests. And so we go through lists from the promotional people from the publishers. And sometimes they send us books to read. And that's probably one of the best perks of the jobs of the
Yeah,
job
oh,
you get free books from the
is we
yeah,
publishers.
get amazing books from
yeah,
the publishers and get to
yeah,
interview the authors and like ask them questions about it. So
yeah,
that's one of the perks that definitely keeps me going. And sometimes we think of people that we want to interview and we just cold call email them. We'll just
Yeah.
be like, hey, we have this podcast. Do you want to come on it? And that's how we did it from the very start is we just started emailing people and eventually we were able to say like, oh, we've interviewed some other, herbalists like Rosemary Gladstar and Jim McDonald and Guido
yeah,
Massey and like
yeah.
all these different authors and stuff. So whatever niche we were kind of focusing on with that particular person, if they were more magical or herbalism, then we could share some of the other people in the field that we've interviewed, and that helped us with just our confidence of and making people excited to want to book an interview with us. And it's surprising
Mm,
how many people say yes. It's like pretty much everyone says yes.
For the
yeah,
Some people
yeah.
say that we've had some people who have like no called, no showed, a few people. And
Okay.
some people say no or just not respond, but a lot of people say
It's like a
yes.
lot.
And because it is free advertising for them
Yeah.
too, you know, so it
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
makes sense to do. And we also try to like have a broad, like we interview a wide variety of people, and we're not like, and if you look at the people, they all have different kinds of ideologies, all different
Mhm.
modalities
Yeah.
of
Yeah,
practice, all these different perspectives, and I really I like that, and I that's part of my goal is to have a wide variety of perspectives, and but to
yeah,
keep it focused on the practice, you know,
yeah, yeah.
and
Do you
yeah,
think, despite that, and I think that's obviously a real strength, I think, of your series, you know, that, yeah, that every, looking through, I couldn't see every episode was unique in its own way. It wasn't like repetition, I felt at all. But having said that, were there any common threads, do you think, between any of the speakers that you've noticed or felt, in anything important like that?
Yeah, there's a few. I've
Mm,
noticed that a lot of the speakers have an animistic
mm,
life and worldview of believing that nature
mm.
and nature beings like trees, plants, stones, like
Yeah,
people believe that nature has spirit.
yes,
And
yeah,
I feel like that's a really it's a common thread between a
yeah,
lot of them. And it's not everybody, but it's a
yeah,
lot.
I
yeah,
think whether or not they call it animism or not too,
Yeah.
it's like there it's not even that they believe it, it's that by interacting with the plants you
yeah,
have firsthand experience of them being conscious
Yeah.
beings, and
yeah,
it's like a doorway into this world where where all beings are like
Yeah.
everything's there's consciousness permeates it, and like where
yeah,
it's this crowded world, really,
yeah,
and it's alive.
yeah,
It's a live cosmos.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
and I
yeah,
think just anybody who's going on this this journey, like working with plants, working with the subtle energies, whether they're more on focused on the magical path or the spiritual path, they begin to have direct personal experience of the living cosmos.
Yeah.
And then even people who have more of a materialistic worldview, like some people that we know, we could say names, maybe it's better. Like even though if they say they don't believe in this, the way they act,
Oh,
They're humbled at the feet of an amphibian or a
right?
beautiful view or a certain plant. They honor, you know what I mean? So like there's
yeah.
still a love of nature,
Yeah,
a
even though, even if
connection.
they're not like what you mean, even if they don't adopt a kind of numinous belief system, they have a natural reverence for
Yeah.
nature. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I dig that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
and even like some of those people, herbalists who have this materialistic worldview,
Yeah,
in a way they act the way they act is more animistic than people who might call
yeah.
themselves animists but don't actually like have that direct experience.
More of an intellectual. It's more of an
Right.
intellectual thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I appreciate. Yeah, I understand what you say there. In fact, only yesterday I had a example of that with somebody who is a major author in TCM, Peter Dedman. I studied with him in the late 80s, and he, for many years, edited the Journal of Chinese Medicine and, and so forth. He met David Bowie in the 60s and all this stuff. But he's an interesting, cool guy, and a deep person. And you can see from his books as well his reverence for the Tao and so
Mm.
forth. But only yesterday, even though, because he was talking about, international issues, and he was talking about the fact that he was half Jewish and saying, but he's totally atheist. I'm not, he said, I'm a passionate atheist. So I know what you mean. You can have
Mhm.
someone who's even like what you would say spiritual, but
Mhm.
not something that they don't, but that not on the basis that they own some specific spiritual worldview.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I
yeah,
also noticed, you want to say something on that before I move?
You can go on.
Okay.
Yeah.
I also noticed that a lot of these folks that come on have complete trust in the plants and their healing
yeah,
modalities to be able to solve health problems at a fundamental level. And they have experience with that, and they have a complete like just I guess a trust in the plants. In
yeah,
addition to that reverence, it's like they've seen
yeah,
what can happen. They've seen the power of whatever
yeah,
modality they're doing or whatever plants they're homies with work some wonders on some people. And it's really inspiring to hear about all the different ways that people are moving through the world to create a ripple of good. I feel like that is
yeah,
such another common thread is like these folks have written something or they've put something out there. They've done a project, they've worked with clients, they've created a garden, they've done something that is rippling in their community. And
yeah,
so it's really nice to be able to like ripple that out further with this podcast where we have an international audience and we don't really know who's listening. We don't have like a robust online community where everyone's chatting and like, oh, I love that episode. It's like we kind of just put it out there and hope for the best. And that is part of why we created our own live event at our farm, the Plant Cunning Conference, was to meet some
yeah,
of the locals that might have like been affected by that ripple. So yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah,
also what I liked about that too is that it's not just a belief. It's not this intellectual belief. It's direct first-hand experience of the modalities that they practice being effective,
yeah,
you know? And that's what
yeah,
I really like to talk about, like on the podcast. We're interviewing people who are at that level,
mm,
who are practicing and like seeing how their modalities are actually effective. That's for me, that's the best is
yeah,
when I talk to a practitioner like that, you
yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah,
The other
yeah,
thing that I would say is a theme related to this too is that there is this theme of the focus on the spiritual as a necessary part of holistic healing.
yeah,
And if we go back through all traditional cultures, there are spiritual healers who, if the herbs don't work, if the granny healer doesn't work, if the herb doctor doesn't work, you have, there's the spiritual healer, and like
Yeah.
those traditional healers, the spirituality is a very important part of that holistic healing, and then that's part. I think even the main thrust of this whole,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
series, the
Yeah.
podcast is trying to reunite that and to not just even reunite because it's already here, but just shine a light on that and show how practitioners are doing that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we talked about
Yeah.
that specifically a lot in our episode with Josh Williams, the author of The Green Art. And he was like talking about how 100 plus years ago, there was no bifurcation of the spiritual and the medicine. It was like not that long ago that we had that split. We were even talking about that, Gabriel, with our with the Thomsonian period, like
Yeah.
there where's like with the physiomedicalists like splitting like from the
Yeah.
traditional granny healers. So yeah, so it's like um it's kind of a new thing that we have this split. And these practitioners that we're talking to have integrated spirit and practical and science into their
Yeah.
practice. And that's why it's plant
Yeah.
cunning, because they are wise to the ways of plants and nature and healing in a holistic way. That's not just like one or the other, which is something I really appreciate about the people we interview.
But at the same
Yeah.
time, also people have different specialties too,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
that's another fun thing about the podcast is getting to interview people with these, like Freedom Cole, like he's trained in Ayurveda and Jyotish and yoga therapy. I mean, he's mainly known now more for the Jyotish, the astrology, but he kind of
Mm.
focuses a little bit more on that and different, and even a like herbalists who are just clinical herbalists, that's a side of it, but like part of the holistic is also showing the different specialties too, I
Yeah.
guess. It's like
Yeah.
Different flavors.
different flavors. But
But
the other thing I was thinking too is noticing is that how often, because when we were starting this was like, are we too herbal for the magical people and too magical for the
Yeah.
herbal people? But also I've been realizing through this show is like how many people are both. Like so many people are both. And they're
yeah.
spiritual
Yeah.
and they're interested in plants. And most people are both. They're not just interested in plants or just
Yeah.
interested in the spiritual side. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
also fun.
Yeah, definitely. Well, but your initial point, which was you feel guided to present herbalists, particularly from or herbalism generally, with your coverage, kind of acknowledging, you know, more or less, I'm interpreting what you said, the importance of the spiritual in healing and plant healing, you know, and that actually makes so much sense because I'll tell you why. Look at this. That out of the top 10 drugs that people take in America, three are for depression and anxiety. And something is missing. If people are that and spending all those billions, if not trillions, and on two levels, first, we can say, with all the side effects that come with those, plant medicine, plant medicine in itself has got a viable alternative. I mean, in an ongoing way, maybe for acute conditions. I'm not being, blind, blinkered about it. But
Hmm.
that's an important message, I think. And secondly,
Hmm.
the other thing is, when so many people are suffering with, the problems really that are coming from a soul level, if you
Yeah.
understand the roots of
Hmm.
those psychological problems. So I think you're bringing together really, two vital messages for people, I think, with the plant medicine and branching also into the spiritual, esoteric and ways of living too, I notice as well. Ways of other
Yeah.
way, ways of living and being and perceiving the world as well from going through the
Yeah.
the episodes again. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the Ben Folk episode talking about homesteading, and
Oh,
he
right.
showed
Yeah.
off his wood stove
Oh,
for
right.
us
Yeah.
and how he had a
Okay.
water
Yeah.
catchment system. And
Yeah.
so yeah,
Yeah.
there's definitely
Yeah.
inspirational ways of being.
And I've always felt from a European, I want to say as well before I ask you a couple of last questions, but I've always felt from looking from a European perspective that Americans always take quite like exactly what you described with ingenuity and approach. Quite, they bring in ingenuity, especially with, yeah, yeah, anything like that,
Yeah.
creating something, maybe it's the pioneering spirit, plus you got the land and all the wood. I don't know. But anyway, what are some of your favorite episodes?
Well, do you have some faves or should I go?
Sure. I mean, of the whole 200, there are so many good
I
ones.
know.
I mean, recently, like our last episode with Craig Williams, I thought was really great.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
Mm.
Obviously, like the episode with Freedom Cole, like that w prompted me to start studying with him, I'm still studying with him,
Yeah.
Oh,
and
right.
I'm
Yeah.
practicing that modality, the Vedic astrology, that I
Yeah.
started. It was after interviewing him where I was like, I really have got to study this. I have to go, and then I went
Oh,
from,
wow.
two
Wow.
feet 2 feet
Yeah.
in the water. So that one for sure. The Judith Hill was also really
I
good.
saw you had her twice, right?
Well, it was one episode that
Oh,
we
oh,
separated into two.
okay.
Um,
Yeah.
and way back, some of our first episodes, like we had Rosita Arvigo,
Oh, yeah. Yes.
who is,
Hey.
I think, exemplifies that traditional healer. And like she
Yeah.
studied with Don Eligio for 17 years. She apprenticed with him for 17 years, and he was sort of this he transmitted this
Mm.
Mayan system that was a really
Yes.
amazing holistic system that used plants, worked with plants, but also worked with spirits, and like
Hmm.
and it was like that to me is like
Mm.
the
Yeah.
the epitome of a
Yes.
true traditional spiritual healer.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Correct.
those I think so those are some of my favorite episodes, but there are so many good ones. Yeah.
Yeah. What about
Yeah.
you, Nancy?
Let's see. I just really enjoyed interviewing some of my herbal teacher mentor types like you, and Pam Montgomery was on the show, and Kate Gilday of
Yeah.
Woodland Essence.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and Lucy Jones is the self-sufficient herbalist.
Oh,
She's from the
yes.
UK,
All
and she
right.
also
Yeah.
is a student of the Tibetan medicine style as well. So she just her whole way of being and style and making her own medicine that she either grows or wildcrafts is sort of the way that I do things too with my herbal product business. And so I'm very inspired by her work and love her book. Self-Sufficient Herbalist is one of the books that she wrote. And
Mm.
yeah, so that was really sweet to interview her. We did an episode with Taylor Keene on indigenous ways of being and indigenous seed saving, and he had so many cool stories that were really interesting. And he kind of opened up a new world for me on the megaliths that are in
Hmm. Oh,
this
wow.
country and are just like in the woods, like in New York or in the Northeast. Like I didn't realize, other than like Serpent Mound and some of these other really big ones, like how common these sacred sites are. So love Taylor Keene and his
Yeah.
episode. Um, had a really interesting chat about the world of cacao and chocolate with Marcus Patchett. That guy is an
Oh,
absolute
yeah.
genius.
Yeah.
Um, that was a super fun episode. I didn't realize like how interesting it would be. I don't know. That one was just like
Yeah.
a really fun one for me.
Yeah.
Um, and when we were talking about the like people, showing alternative ways of being, like the homesteaders and stuff, we interviewed this amazing homesteading legend, Joe Hollis, who has since passed on.
Yeah.
Oh,
And we feel we've talked about this a lot of trying to incorporate getting as many herbal elders on the show and many inspiring
yeah.
people who are
Yes.
like in their elder years.
Mm.
That's been a
Mm.
focus of ours too at certain times, especially. So We feel
Yeah.
really blessed to have been able to talk with Joe Hollis and
Yeah. Oh, right.
um yeah, those were a few of the faves. There's so many. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
the Guido Massé one was really interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I could go on.
Right.
I
Yeah.
could go on and on.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you've had so many, you've had so many great people for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm
Yeah.
sure, God, I think more than anything, you must have, well, obviously, like learned so much. It's like doing a
Yeah.
5 year
Yeah.
course, 5 year course.
It
It
is kind of like a
has.
Yeah.
5-year course on like
Yeah.
comparative
Modalities, healing
Yeah.
modalities.
holistic healing
Yeah.
modalities. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that in itself is a kind of transformation, and that you've been
Yeah.
through. Are there any others that you've been through, since, would you say, that over the 5 years of meeting all these incredible people?
Well, for me, one is that, when we started the show in 2020, I didn't practice astrology. I had been working with the planetary spirits, like the archangels, and like
Yeah.
working with like initiating into the planetary spheres before then. But I didn't actually start studying astrology until that winter.
Mm.
And so that's been like a major thing for me because like at this point, like I'm seeing astrological like clients every week. Like I'm still, it's like a major part of my life.
Yeah.
And it's part of my livelihood.
Yeah.
That's been a major transformation for me over those
Yeah.
5 years and
Wow. Yes.
becoming that practitioner, becoming an astrological practitioner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also like
Yeah.
thanks goes like part of the one of the both for me and for other people is like I get to interview potential teachers too. You know what I mean? And so like I got to interview Judith
Chris
Hill
Warnock.
and Chris Warnock. I actually had already started studying with Chris Warnock, but when I interviewed him, but it's like it gives you another level. But then yeah, getting to interview Freedom and like suss people out and
Yeah.
see where I
Yeah.
want to go. And like also because for
Yeah.
me it's important the connection you have with the teacher. You might be a really really good teacher, but not for
Yeah.
you, you know?
No. No.
But
Sure. Sure.
so
Yeah.
there's that connection part that's really important too.
Yeah.
So
No. Absolutely. Yeah, a lot of great advantages there. Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
What about you, AC? Have been through a big change, would you say, transformation with the podcast?
I would say that I've definitely gone through a transformation from being a full student observer, taking it in, trying to like, really just be this beginner mind. And
Mhm.
um, that's a great standpoint to be standing in. It's a great way to be when you're interviewing people and you're just curious and,
Yeah.
you're open. And so I've gone from that to actually feeling like I could be interviewed by someone like Gabriel Mojay. Or, like to be able to feel like I could teach what I know. And I've found my voice in a different way than I expected. I mean, I just kind of figured I would always be kind of shy and need to prepare a million notes and read the entire book and write 25 questions and practice them and then edit, you know what I mean? But now we can kind of just go off the cuff, like reading a few key chapters or like skimming the. Sorry. All right, we'll edit that. I would never do that. I would read the whole book every time. Um, Anyway, so yeah, I feel like I've gained my voice and my confidence
Yeah.
as a teacher in my own right, and it's opened up some doors for me to be able to teach classes online, and I've really advanced my own training on how to be an online facilitator through classes like Breakthrough Facilitation and my work with Ryan
Mm.
Clover of Maple Creative, who's a web developer and works with creatives to advance their online communities and help them to get their work out there in effective ways. And so I've learned a lot from him and from doing a lot of Zoom calls and a lot of these interviews, I've been able to create my own program now. Now I'm offering a whole online diploma program, which I thought would be something that I would do in like 10 years. But this podcast has like fast tracked me. So I feel like I've changed from that beginner mind to a teacher in this
Mm.
5 year
Yes.
span.
Well, it's also, one has to say, which I don't think has been mentioned, but a great way for you guys to get known among
Hmm.
a lot of important people out there in these I won't say just one community because it's,
Yeah.
It's
they,
intersection of a
they're-
lot. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
that must be a great thing as well,
Yeah.
and it can your reputation, I'm sure, can only have grown and grown. So,
Oh,
how do you
hopefully in a
feel?
good way.
No, oh sure, absolutely. But what about going forward? Do you think just, is it like a case of keep on keeping on really? Because I mean, why fix what's already working perfectly, except I guess one could always spend a bit of money on the promo, but yeah, that's a
I
part of the
think
challenge, isn't it?
one thing we were talking about today was like creating a better studio space where we can have two microphones and
Mm-hmm.
like a cool background with plants and lighting, like the way that real podcasters do it.
Yeah.
So instead of just doing it in our guest room right now, because it's the only room with a door. So like having a cool studio space and maybe investing
Yeah,
in a better camera system
yeah,
um, could be on the agenda. And we will just keep on keeping on. And if folks are listening and they want to recommend folks for our podcast to be on the show as someone we
Hmm.
interview, then we're always open to that. And you can just email us at info@plantcunning.com.
Yeah, and if people have suggestions for us too, I
Yeah.
mean, like I put a lot of work into this, and
yeah,
sometimes I don't know, like sometimes I feel like, wow, I don't know if this is worth it, but I think it is. I mean, I wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't. Um, but like at 200 episodes, it'd be we've had
mm,
quarter of a million downloads and a quarter of a million views on YouTube and
yeah,
probably millions of views on TikTok and so on. But um, it's still not like at like a level that I kind of would have liked to be at
yeah,
5 years. Um, and maybe that part of that is that we don't have the professional equipment. Maybe it's just that's the way it goes. Maybe it's like we are kind of very niche.
Or not niche enough.
Well, I'm not sure. But it's I mean I'm also grateful for where we are too. So,
yeah,
but if people do have suggestions, let me know. I also like
yeah,
I am kind of doing my best as well.
yeah.
So,
I mean, yeah. I think maybe quite often you just when you because there's we've covered all the good reasons to be running it. There's so many great outcomes from you guys developing this, sticking with it, and broadening your audience. And I think I'm just hoping that it just gets to a point of like that breakthrough, whatever it is, the hundredth monkey or whatever, where people really catch on, because it seems, I think it does capture a certain growing zeitgeist in awareness and consciousness that's emerging. And maybe you're just at the beginning of that wave, and at a certain point, you're going to hit the crest, and hopefully we're all going to benefit from that. Because
yeah, and I
similarly,
think part of it
it's,
too is that we are kind of niche, and
yeah,
it's like I don't know if the people have short attention spans these days, and it's like I feel like we are inherently for a smaller audience, just because that we get very deep into the subject matter. We have actual experts on kind of the
yeah,
rather niche topics
For an
on
hour
for
when
an
everybody
yeah,
has 5-minute attention spans.
and that's part of
yeah,
it. But
yeah,
I think there is the potential
yeah.
for big growth as well. So
And do you know what I think will help it grow is your new book coming up. You
yeah,
should tell
so
us about that, because I
right,
think
so
that will really help spread the word.
I hope so, and thank you. So
Yeah.
I am coming out with a new book, the Zodiac Garden Guide, maybe just Zodiac Garden. um,
Yeah.
but it's a book on astrological gardening and my experience with astrological gardening and making a zodiac garden, um, and timing and create garden design. And that's going to be coming out very soon. So I'm
Yeah.
excited for that, and I hope that
Yeah.
people enjoy. I think they will. It's a book that I would get for myself. You know what I mean? And I think that's important.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
write a book that you would buy, and I would definitely buy this book. So
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that. Look, keep an ear out for that, and an eye out for that. It'll be out very soon.
Yeah. Well, it would be a book that I would buy, so I'm glad that you're writing it. And I'm not,
Yeah.
no,
And
not,
also,
not
thank
that
you,
I could.
Gabriel. Gabriel's helping me with the layout
Yeah.
too, so that's going to
Yeah.
be. I'm very
Yeah.
very appreciative
Yeah.
about that.
Well, it's got a lot of stunning images too, I think, that can, I think, are going to really add to the book in a magical way, really. Yeah. And AC, you got some teaching coming up, I hear, through the grapevine.
Yeah, got some teaching coming up. We are beginning our diploma program in October or on October 12th, so this
Yeah.
Sunday.
Yeah.
And folks still have time to sign up if you're interested, but it's a
Mm.
program with 33 live sessions, and we meet every Sunday. So it's Gabriel and I co-teaching, and we're bringing our combined skills in herbal medicine and aromatherapy and ranging from growing, ranging from wildcrafting, making medicine, using the different types of medicines, and yeah, we're doing a whole online course. So
Yeah.
I'm really excited about that. And I am still leading some plant walks in my local community until the end of October. There's one that I'm doing on October 26th in the Glimmerglass State Park in Cooperstown with a local fungi expert named Shane. So I'm excited for that as well.
Yeah.
Just gotta,
Yeah,
yeah,
fantastic. Yeah, yeah. Well, I was just thinking how, on Sunday, I really think it's such a great resource, even for our diploma students, to have these podcasts to go back and delve into. It really is, given we've said how we
Mhm.
want to gear the course towards people's personal interests.
Yeah,
And I'm sure anyone doing any project on any given subject, I bet you there'll be some of your Plant Cunning podcasts will be well worth them listening to. So
yeah,
what I'm saying is I think it's great. I'm proud that we can make that as something we can it's a direct learning resource for the students as well, really.
yeah, probably will come in handy.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
Anyway, well, I think we've
Oh,
been a whole hour.
wow.
Wow.
So,
Look
yeah,
at that.
a bit longer. Once again, I want to say congratulations. Yeah, fifth anniversary, 200th episode. Incredible. So, yeah, congrats. Are you
Thanks.
open a bottle of champagne or what?
Yeah, let's pop that champagne.
Okay. Well, thank you, Gabriel,
Oh,
for doing
Cheers.
this, with us. I
It
no,
would
feel,
not have been the
yeah,
same without you, I
yeah,
guarantee
it
it.
would have been
no.
10 minutes, and we'd been like,
Yeah, what do we say now?
I'm, I'm glad we pulled something off. And yeah, champagne or elderflower cordial.
elderflower. Yeah,
Yes.
so
Yeah,
some of that.
elderflower
Great.
cordial.
Cheers to
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
And
Cheers.
there's
Ding,
nothing in
ding.
here, but
Cheers.
Okay.
okay.
Bye. Thanks, y'all, for listening.
Sure. All the best. Take care. Thank you.